Initially, I feel a bit nervous because I'm like, who are people gonna like the game or not? And then, like, after the positive reviews, it's like, oh, I feel really good. This is so exciting. I can't believe it worked. Like, people like the thing I worked on. So I would say it's one of the best feelings in the world when it's positively received. When I was 6 months old, I moved with my parents to Antigua and Barbuda. So I was born in the Netherlands. And one day they decided the Netherlands is too cold and too gloomy, so they packed me up and they went to Antigua. And this is where my story starts. The Netherlands is very packed together. There's people everywhere and everything's kind of on top of each other, and it's more rural and spread out there, and it's just a very relaxed, chill vibe there. So that's why they chose Antigua. This is Kiwi, my oldest bird. He's turning 9 next month. He's a green-cheeked conure. I've had him since he was they're very jealous. I've had him since he was a 4-week-old baby. He loves to cuddle and chill with me in the evening. And I would say he's one of my non-human best friends. He's very special to me. I would say I had a very different childhood than the average Dutch person. I spent like weekends going on a boat with uncle, going fishing, visiting small rural islands that have no people living on there around with a boat. And you have like lots of wild seabirds, wild snakes, turtles, seeing stingrays in the ocean, everything. It was really beautiful. And I would say if you love nature, growing up in the Caribbean is really perfect. I've had many dogs, cats, fish, rodents, lots of hamsters at some point because I really like hamsters, they're very cute. Rescued a lot of wild little birds, and when they were old enough, we usually set them free. Sometimes if they had like a disability and couldn't be set free, I would keep them as pet. They would just chill in my house with other birds. Oh boy, I've had so many different animals, but they're all very special to me. Like I remember each and every one of them very uniquely, I would say, especially the dogs and the cats. Of course, I did play games as a kid, but the thing is, because Antigua is an island and everything is imported, there was a long while that I didn't have a computer or a console or anything growing up at home. I think the console, the first one we had in the house was a PS2, only came when I was 12 years old. So before it was a little bit of PC gaming, but it was like a really old computer. And at the time, internet connection was kind of almost non-existent. I played a lot of Sims as a kid on the PS2. I think I spent every day after school playing this. I was very addicted to it, I would say. When I went more to high school, I had the kind of this peer pressure that it was nerdy and not cool to play games, so I wanted to fit in a bit, so I kind of stopped for a bit. I still secretly played The Sims 2 on the side, but told no one. Come, let's go this way. There's nothing scary going on. Now he's more comfortable with his boyfriend here. The green one sees them as friends, so the white-gray one sees him as a love interest. You can see he's very in love with him, and he's constantly serenading him and trying everything to get his affection. It's so silly because they're completely different species. Moving to Europe when 19 was quite scary because I moved here on my own. My mom and brother came with me for, I think, about 3 weeks just to kind of get me settled in. Then I stayed at I rented a room from a friend of my mom's, but after that I was kind of on my own, and I was like, whoa, so many things because you're living with your parents first, all these new adult things you need to learn. And also it's like a kind of familiar but not familiar country because I did go on vacation to the Netherlands a few times as a kid, but it was never really on my own. So I had to figure out a lot of things, how things work differently in this country compared to Antigua. So Antigua, I would say, it's not as modern as the Netherlands. Like everything is electronic, like you pay contactless with a card, you check in with a card for the public transport. This was very new to me. When I was a kid growing up, I had no idea you could make a career out of making video games. For some reason, I didn't have the connection oh, someone needs to make the video games. My cousin was in her first year at the game study in Breda University of Applied Sciences. So I went to Breda, and that day, by coincidence, she had, I think, a workshop or something that she was working on a game project. So I sat with her and hung out with some of her friends from the study for the day, and I thought these seemed like really chill people. They actually seemed more familiar to me than, I would say, the people I met in my art study. And then I saw the work she was doing, and then I was like, oh cool, I can make art, and I can make art for video games, so this is like a perfect thing. It's very structured, and that just seemed perfect for me. Then I applied, and then I surprisingly got in, quite easy, I would say. And then one day I got a message from a former classmate that worked at Vertigo, and he's like, hey, we're looking for environment artists. Are you interested? At that time I was on a vacation in Antigua, so this was all happening on the other side of the world. And then I cut my trip short and went back 2 weeks earlier for my interview at Vertigo. So then I applied, and I had an interview with someone at Vertigo, the art lead, and then I got in. So that's kind of how it all happened. I think I'm going to stay in the games industry for the foreseeable future. Maybe that I don't stick to environment art, because I kind of like learning new things constantly, so I want to go a bit to the more technical sides of game development or game art. So I would say I definitely stay in it, but not in one area as a game artist, just kind of branch out and learn new things and just kind of try different areas of game art. He's a good boy, huh? You little scratchy scratchies. You're scratchy scratchies. He loves getting cuddles and attention. He's very affectionate. He also loves to play with my hair. It's like a playground for them. Once I cut my hair short and he was very sad. He's like, no, the hair's gone.